Here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
And welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is the Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here today on the big program. Lots to get to, lots to talk about. Scandal of the day. Joe Biden had a taco. Scandal of the day. Not from one of those taco trucks that were supposed to be lining every street the former guy claimed was going to happen. No. Actually went to a taco place. First time today, first time as president. Joe Biden stepped foot inside of a restaurant. Celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Went for a taco enchilada run to tout the almost $29 billion restaurant program to help get restaurants back up and on their feet. Open up the doors a little bit as we're moving towards the reopening, as swing the doors back open. This program to help restaurants, delis, diners, the service into the food service industry, get them back up on their feet. I think it's something that we need to do, something that has to happen. But yeah, today he was at a restaurant I can't pronounce, eating tacos that I'm really not a huge fan of, but good for him. It was the day he went there touting that program. Now, what I find interesting, and this is one of those things where, Joe Biden has the right to go out there and say, hey, look what we did. Look at how we're helping you. Look at how the bill that we passed is going to help get people back employed, help people get back to some bit of normal life, help business owners, especially small business owners, reclaim their businesses, all of that. Look what we're doing. Look at the work we're doing. What I find interesting is the number of Republicans who voted against it. I find it interesting that a bunch of them are touting it, saying, hey, make sure you sign up. There's a trough of money. Go get it. Something Republicans completely understand. They understand large troughs of money because if you remember, the first stimulus plan, massive trough. Massive trough for the corporate piggies to get their snouts in. And they did, very much so. But you had a bunch of Republicans, like the former vice president's brother, Greg Pence. He's out there saying, hey, yeah, go. And unabashedly saying that, this is, go get it. Help is on the way. Now, that's the opposite of what Kevin McCarthy said back in March on the floor when they were debating this, saying help is not on the way. So I don't know which Republican Party we're talking about. They all have the same R behind their name, but some of them are crazy or some of them are crazier. I mean, this is kind of weird. Now, Pence, anti-government guy, thrilled. We're going to give out some money. Going to help the restaurant industry. Help is on the way. You can go through a bunch of these. This Lee Stefanik, who evidently they're touting to push Liz Cheney out of the way for Beth DeVanduyn, Jamie Herrera Butler, Glenn Grothman, that guy from Wisconsin, a bunch of them all voted against it. And you go, how can you do that? How can you go, I'm against it, I'm going to vote against it. If it weren't for those Democrats over there, you wouldn't be getting this. But here, look what I'm bringing you. I mean, it's kind of irrational on a certain level. It's extremely ridiculous, but it is who the Republican Party who has always been. Hypocrites through and through. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, because I hear this all the time, Rick. We need to be more bipartisan. We need to compromise more. We need to come together more. And look, I pine for those days when that may have been possible. This, unfortunately, is not one of those days, evidently. Because look, you've got these people who were dead set against this. They were united against this legislation happening. They were in strong opposition. Almost universally, the Republican Party turned against it. Now, Tim Scott, he wants you to believe that, back when the former guy was there, we got along and we were able to vote on this. No, that's because Democrats were willing to go, yeah, we're going to give you the win. And they would have given Trump a third win. They would have given him whatever he wanted to deal with the pandemic, because it was about people. It was about our communities. It was about doing the job over doing the political. And this is where the Republicans have fallen down time and time again. Joe Biden is willing to compromise. He said it numerous times. He's been known as a guy who's willing to move around. But you now have, and look, I'm hoping this is the moment, because when I saw Mitch McConnell again, you may remember Moscow Mitch's statement that they were going to make Barack Obama a one-term president. That was his goal. They were going to gridlock everything up. They were going to obstruct everything possible, and they did. As much as they could, they filibustered every opportunity. They stopped any real possible legislation that was going to make people's lives better. They were going after it. Now, Mitch has come out and said that 100% of his focus, 100% of my focus is on stopping this new administration. Mitch said, I think the best way to look at what this new administration is, he said, the president may have won the nomination, but Bernie Sanders won the argument. Now, you're supposed to think socialism. If you didn't get that, that's socialism he's talking about. Bernie Sanders, a socialist. Without identifying the fact that the programs that Joe Biden's moving forward on, popular. People want it. People want a $15 an hour minimum wage. People want massive infrastructure spending because they understand, one, we'll get better infrastructure. Two, we'll get lots of jobs. Seems pretty sane, seems pretty rational, seems like something we could do. Seems like something that could be bipartisan. And look, this is one of those things that I said back when Trump took office, the former guy. I said, had he gone to infrastructure first thing out of the bag, had that been the first club, not the we're going to rip healthcare away from poor people, had he gone to infrastructure, he would have had a much different presidency. Because that's the area where people go, or at least used to, go, yes, we can agree on roads and bridges and broadband and all of the things that need to be rebuilt. So I'm thinking about this statement by Mitch McConnell saying that, number one, 100% of his focus, stopping this administration, which means he wants nothing to get done. He's happy with the status quo. He's happy with the economy being still a little struggling, no investment to get that kick started. So if you're struggling, if you're having a hard time, you're on your own. And oh, by the way, the $28.6 billion in money that's going to go to help boost small business and the restaurant industry, if it were Mitch McConnell's choice, that would not happen because 100% focused on stopping this administration. Because, again, he wants you to believe that it's all socialism, it's all bad. Yet it's stuff that they had proposed in the past. So I'm looking at this, and good on Joe Biden for just dismissing it. He said that during the Obama years. We'll figure it out. We're going to get by it. But I'm hoping this is that moment. Because we've heard a lot of people say, well, we've got to do this in a bipartisan way. And it's interesting how when Democrats are in power, we talk a lot about bipartisanship. Oh, we need to appease the conservatives. We need to appease the Republicans. We need to make sure that they're taken care of. Make sure that they get input. They always do this. Always. It's like it's like they've got a secret thought. And I think about Dick Cheney, who was asked, if the Democrats would come along with whatever it was they were doing. And he said, look, they'll cave. It's what they do. That's their mindset. And they don't know how to act with, with the way Biden's going. He's saying, look, we can compromise. But ultimately, I think Biden knows he's going to have to push this as far as he can with the Democrats that he has. And I'm hoping this is that moment where those handful of Democrats who have been a pain in the neck to this point realize that nothing's going to get done with them wishing and hoping for bipartisanship. There is no measure of compromise that Mitch McConnell will make. There are no concessions that Mitch McConnell is willing to take. There's none of this. He has just told you he is 100% invested in making sure nothing happens. It seems like deja vu all over again. It seems just like deja vu. And because we've seen this movie, haven't we? And you remember all the ticking bombs, the debt ceilings, the sequester. You remember all those, Friday night at midnight, the world economy is going to go kaboom because America is going to default on its debt because we aren't going to pay the bills that we already made. They're arguing about just paying the bills. It's crazy. And it got me thinking, who are the Republicans today? Do Republicans see Mitch McConnell? Do they see these hypocrites saying, "Oh no, here's a ton of money. Here's a trough. Thank us for not getting this for you." That's basically what they're saying. You can thank us for not voting for something that you are going to benefit from. We didn't want you to have it. We didn't think you could use it, but hey, it looks good on a card. What does this Republican Party stand for? And the interesting thing is if you're looking at this Liz Cheney, Kevin McCarthy situation, where you're just kind of going, exactly what is it that they're doing? They're going to oust Liz Cheney, whom I don't like. The fact that I'm looking at this moment and there is a Cheney that I agree with, that a Cheney is the savior of our democracy, scares me. But here we're in this moment where Liz Cheney's saying, look, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to buy into the big lie. The election wasn't stolen. Donald Trump didn't win. He is not president. Joe Biden is the president. He is not illegitimate. He's the guy. And for that, for the fact that she won't lie, they're talking about ousting her and putting someone in who will. Now, look, I've always looked at the GOP as a bunch of liars, cheats, and thieves anyway. So is it surprising to me that now the liars, cheats, and thieves are actually outwardly saying, yes, we're liars, cheats, and thieves? No, it doesn't surprise me. This is what Donald Trump's main accomplishment was. He let the party be who they are. He let them be racist and misogynist and liars, cheats, and thieves. So now the party's going, hey, we can't let the cat out of the bag that much. So there's part of them going, no, we've still got to have this veneer of decency. And the other party's like, no, screw it, we are who we are. And this is where the interesting part of all this is coming from, because Liz Cheney actually believes that they're the party of the rule of law. They're the party of the law. Yeah. They're the party of limited government, except when it means, going after people in their bedrooms and people they don't agree with. They're the party of strong defense. And I don't know anyone who isn't in favor of strong defense. And I've always pushed back on that because it's ridiculous. But anyway, also she said they believe in prosperity and opportunity. And I'm going, again, who doesn't? What she is calling for, though, and this is the important part. She's calling for a bipartisan commission of non-elected people who aren't going to be running for anything, to actually have subpoena power to investigate everything that happened on January 6th. Because at the end of the day, we cannot forget January 6th. We cannot forget the guy who was behind pushing this narrative, who whipped the crowd up and pointed them like a loaded gun in the direction of those legislators. And we've got to get to the bottom of all of this. And the fact that Liz Cheney's coming out and saying, look, we've got to have this bipartisan commission, much like they did with the 9/11 commission. You got to have people who aren't elected, who aren't grandstanding, who are going to do the work and dig. Because, and I agree with her, history is watching us. Our children are watching us. The rest of the world is watching us. Are we going to allow that kind of violence to happen? And this is an interesting moment for me because, look, I look at the Republican Party, which is why I am not a member, as the party of the elites. I look at them as the party of the extremely wealthy, the business titans, the captains of industry, not the average everyday working stiff who they've bamboozled into thinking that they care about them. But this is a moment where, do they believe in democracy? Do they, the Constitution that they claim to carry around in their pocket? You remember during the Tea Party years, everyone had a pocket Constitution. None of them read it, but they carried it with them. They thought maybe the ink would bleed into them somehow, and they would be able to, by osmosis, be able to absorb what was in it. This is one of those moments. Who are the Republican Party members? Which side are they on? And I don't know which side wins. Is it the Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney side? Or is it the McCarthy and the Boeberts and the Gates and the other crazy one, Green? Is it that? Is that sideshow, that freak show, the future of the Republican Party? Part of me hopes so. Part of me hopes so that maybe we can get rid of them and they can start anew. And that those working people who have been bamboozled into believing that, yes, the boss really does care about them can begin to reevaluate. That the veneer of they care about us is wiped away. Perfect example. The party of the new working class, evidently, the Republicans, the Republican governor of Montana, Greg Gianforte, evidently is now going to say, he's now saying Montana is not taking any more unemployment benefits from the federal government, so no additional $300 for those working people who are out of work. You're going to go forced back to those crappy jobs. As I was saying, if you have a true labor shortage, if you're arguing we have a labor shortage, nobody will take these crummy jobs, you increase the pay. They don't seem to do that. They just want to force people back into crummy jobs and unsafe jobs. Going to be interesting to see how it plays out. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the new report out by the AFL-CIO, Death on the Job, how many people died in 2019, and, what we've done or what we're doing to protect workers. Quick break. Right back. Stick around. You're listening to The Rick Smith Show.
Nothing more American than workers standing up, and the union gives a voice to win. On The Rick Smith Show.